You're about to be born, not as a lion with a mane, not as an eagle with wings, not even as a regular frog, green and bouncy, sitting on a lily pad. Nope, you're about to be born as one of the strangest, most cursed creatures alive, the Indian purple frog. When people hear that name, they picture something magical, a royal-looking purple frog glowing like a jewel in the rainforest. Wrong. You don't look magical, you look like someone overinflated a water balloon and stuck a pig's nose on the front. Your eyes are tiny, your legs are stubby, and your body looks like it's permanently bloated. You are not cute, you are not majestic, you are an eggplant with legs. And your life? It's a story of mud, misery, termites, and disappointment. Your life starts as an egg glued to rocks in a rushing stream. Your mom doesn't stay to protect you. She just lays the eggs and leaves. No cuddles, no lullabies. You're on your own. And your childhood? It's not peaceful. You hatch into a raging monsoon torrent. Other frog tadpoles get calm ponds. You get whitewater rapids. You cling to rocks with a sucker mouth, fighting the current 24/7. Imagine being born strapped to a fire hose that never shuts off. That's your life as a tadpole. If you slip, you're washed away and dead. If a fish spots you, you're swallowed in one gulp. If you survive, congratulations, you've only made it through childhood. The nightmare is just beginning. You metamorphosize into a frog, except you're not hopping around croaking by a pond, you're digging. Because your body is built like a mole's. Your arms are thick, your snout is pointy, and your legs are bad at jumping. You're not a leaper, you're a tunneler. So what do? You dive underground and stay there. Not for a day, not for a week, for your whole life. The world above, you'll barely see it. You live buried, surrounded by darkness and dirt, like a prisoner in solitary confinement. You spend 364 days of the year underground. That's not an exaggeration. You only crawl out once a year. The rest? You're in the mud, alone, silent, waiting. What do you eat? Termites. That's it. Your long tongue snaps them up, one by one, day after day, year after year. No variety, no excitement, just termites, forever. Imagine being human and the only food you're allowed is soggy cereal that's crawling with legs. That's your diet. Your eyes are tiny. You barely see. Your hearing is muffled by soil. Your world is touch, smell, and vibration. You feel termites scurrying, you smell damp earth, you hear muffled thuds when something big walks above you. That's your soundtrack, dirt and bugs. And you're alone. Other frogs gather in ponds, croaking in choruses, competing for mates. You don't see anyone, you don't call anyone, you don't live in a community. You are a hermit in the mud. Finally, once a year, the rains come. The soil floods, the streams swell, and something inside you stirs. You dig your way out of the ground, squirming up through the mud, into the world above. This is your one chance, your only chance. You croak with your weird nasal voice, hoping another purple frog hears you. If you're lucky, you find a mate. You cling together in the rain, slippery bodies pressed awkwardly, eggs are laid. And then, just as quickly, it's over. Back underground you go, another 364 days of darkness and termites. Imagine being human, living in a basement, and only leaving the house once a year during a thunderstorm to hook up with someone in a parking lot, then immediately crawling back into the basement. That's your life cycle. If something eats you during that brief trip outside, that's it. All that waiting, wasted. Snakes love you, birds love you, even people in some regions eat you considering you a delicacy. You're rare, which means you're a target. You crawl out for romance, and you end up on a dinner plate. If you survive year after year, dodging predators and storms, eating termites underground, you might live a decade, maybe 15 years, which sounds decent until you realize what that means. 15 years of mud, 15 years of eating the same food, 15 years of silence, loneliness, and darkness. Your reward for surviving? More dirt. Picture your day-to-day. You wake up underground in pitch black. You wiggle around, tongue-flicking termites. Hours pass, nothing changes. Dirt walls, damp smells, squirming bugs. Then night falls. Not that you notice because you can't see the sky. You fall asleep in mud. Repeat for 364 days. Other frogs leap, sing, bask, hunt, explore. You're in a silent coffin of soil. The highlight of your week? Finding a fresh cluster of termites. And here's the cruelest part. You're not just any frog, you're ancient. Your lineage split off from other frogs before dinosaurs went extinct. You are a living fossil, millions of years old, unique, special. And what do you do with all that history? Hide in dirt. Evolution gave you millions of years to evolve, and you chose mole that eats termites. You could have been colorful. You could have been toxic. You could have been loud. Instead, you're purple, bloated, and underground. Evolution turned you into a punchline. Now, imagine if humans lived like purple frogs. You're born glued to a wall in a flooding basement. You grow into a potato-shaped adult with stubby arms. You live underground, eating nothing but termites, alone for 10 years. Once a year during a thunderstorm, you crawl out, desperate for love. If you succeed, you go back into the basement. If not, you wait another year. Oh, and your neighborhood is being bulldozed for farming, so your basement might collapse at any moment. That's the human version of a purple frog's life. And here's the final insult. You only live in one place, the Western Ghats of India. One strip of mountains. If that habitat goes, you go. And humans are cutting it down. Deforestation, farming, climate change, pollution, all of it is eating away at your one safe zone. You spent 100 million years hiding from the world, and now the world is destroying you anyway. So why does it suck to be born an Indian purple frog? Because your life is mud, termites, loneliness, and disappointment. You spend childhood glued to rocks in raging floods, adulthood buried in soil. You only see the sky once a year. You risk death every time you crawl out. You're ugly, forgotten, fragile, and doomed. Your existence is a cycle of dirt, termites, rain, breeding, and more dirt. Nothing more. No glory, no adventure, no joy. Just mud and waiting. So next time you think your life is boring, remember, at least you don't spend 15 years buried underground eating termites, crawling out once a year to mate in the rain, and looking like a purple balloon with a pig's nose. Because as ancient and rare as the Indian purple frog is, being born one absolutely, undeniably, horrifically sucks.